Hello there, I am coming to you from a different background today. I am outside in the great outdoors. Just kidding, I'm sitting in my friend's backyard. I wanted to talk about some of my favorite tips that I have learned over the years on how to fall with grace, or how to really just limit the chance of you falling unexpectedly, and to prepare yourself so that you are injured less so you can climb more. These tips are more for the conscious climber rather than the one that wants to flash everything. And also, I am not a fall expert in any way. These are just the tips that have worked well for me in the past. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is to push yourself away when you're falling off slabs. If you don't get triggered by the words cheese grate and slab, then you clearly haven't fallen off badly before. I personally really like slabs, but as I'm getting more and more into climbing, I'm starting to realize why people don't like them so much. The thing with slabs is that a lot of the times you are on really tricky or really tiny feet, and the next move or the tricky move might be to put pressure on those feet. Because you're standing on a straight wall, you're probably more likely to slip off if you're not confident in what you're going to do. Sometimes if you're lucky, you might even leave a piece of your DNA on the wall. Although we like to leave souvenirs of our skin all across the climbing gym, it is firstly pretty painful, and secondly, it's quite unhygienic, and honestly, probably not the best for those poor people who have to clean the blood off the wall. So I try to control the fall of my slabs by using this risk-averse technique, which I tried to build into my muscle memory. This just involves me pushing myself away like this every time I fall or slip off. I make a conscious effort to make this a habit so that I'm automatically lessening the chance of scraping myself down the wall. This works well for slabs due to the wall's straight angle, which means that when you fall, you're more likely to fall inwards towards the wall, which is where you might be getting those scrapes. Compared to other degrees of walls where when you fall, you're more likely to be falling backwards because the degree of the wall is angled in a way where you're falling this way rather than falling inward. By using the technique of pushing yourself away, you're giving yourself that space so that you can fall without touching any of the things along the way. Just remember to make sure that the landing zone is free and clear before you hop onto the slab, because that would be quite disastrous if you pushed yourself away and directly onto somebody else. So be careful of that. Tip number 2 is to use test holds or nicer holds when you're trying out dynos. This piece of advice has helped me a lot because I used to be so scared of doing dynamic moves, and I really wanted to do them because they just look so cool. In my earlier days of climbing, I was commonly motivated by my friends to try dynos because they were really good at them, and every time I get on, I would just get defeated and complain that they were super reachy. And in some cases they were, but when I put my hands on the first holds, I would just feel defeated and not try anything. That was until I realized that I could use closer holds and put myself in a position where I could practice how to get to the hold without using the start holds. And that actually really helped me a lot, because by practicing and putting myself in a better position, I was able to build the self-confidence, and I realized that I actually could reach that hold, and it wasn't that bad after all. The key is to get used to the motion and build your self-confidence so that you can feel the direction and the amount of power that you need to commit to using the nicer holds. And then when you get used to that, then you can try going on the actual holds. And when you start from there, it might feel a bit shaky. But then if you remember how good it felt when it was from the nicer holds, then it gives you that boost of confidence for you to go, and then you will probably really surprise yourself, because at least by trying out the movement, you're still building that confidence, that body recognition that this is the direction that I need to go, this is the amount of power that I need to use. Because the thing with dynos is that you really do need to commit to be able to hit that hold. And a lot of the times the things that we dyno to are quite juggy, so it's really beneficial to give yourself that extra boost of self-confidence by trying with something a little bit easier. Testing dynamic moves with closer holds not only builds your confidence, but also prevents the chance of injury, because when you believe and commit, then you're less likely to fall and slip off, and in that turn, you'll be able to send, and that's what we want. For example, take this pink sideways dyno here. When I realized it was a dyno, I tried the moves from the start hold. They were awkward and felt really far away because I had no confidence in myself and I wasn't used to that sort of movement, so I was like, well, there's no way I'm gonna reach that and also stab my foot at the same time. I really didn't want to commit, so that's when I tried going from the yellow holds right next to it, which not only was closer, but also gave me confidence to go for that hold. And when I went for that hold, I actually caught it. So that gave me the familiarity that I needed to be like, oh, if I go in this direction, I'll need to use this amount of power to get there. And then I just kept practicing a few times until I got used to holding the nice holds and using that sort of momentum. And then I tried again from the start holds, and I honestly surprised myself because as I caught the hold, my whole body just followed and I was able to hit it. And it was just a great feeling. So every time I try dynos now, because of the risk adverse climber that I am, if I'm not familiar with the type of hold that I need to jump to, it's really unlikely that I will just commit, which means that I really do need these other nicer holds to give me that confidence, to give me that little boost to go up to where I need to be. And at the end of the day, dynos are one of the most satisfying types of climbs that anyone can do because it's just such a burst of power, and then when you hit it, you're like, oh my god, I am a god. And you are, so believe in yourself. Anyway, so next time you try a dyno and you want to do something and then you're not quite hitting it, give this tip a try and maybe it'll be helpful. Tip number 3 is to find the best part of a bad hold. Did you know that sometimes there are sneaky good parts of bad holds? And by bad holds, I mean my personal favorite villains, slopers. And if you don't know what a sloper is, it's pretty much a big hold that doesn't have a nice part to it. It's quite flat and sometimes can be curved shaped, which means that when you hold on it and you try to put pressure, you're likely to slip off. So you need to have really strong fingers, or you need to figure out how to hold them in a different way. A really good tip for technique is to try out the holds, and once you get used to that feeling, you'll know what the best part of the hold is. So you won't be wasting that energy when you're trying to climb it. You'll know, I need to hold it there, and that's how I'm going to hold it. Slopers and I do not have a very good relationship, probably because my hands are pretty small, so I'm not usually able to pinch or hold it a certain way that other people might be able to nicely hold it. But over time, I have found that if you change your center of gravity or if you reposition your body, a hold might just feel a lot nicer. I've been lucky enough to have been given some really great tips by experienced climbers who have taught me how and where I should be placing my body when I am holding these bad holds. So for example, one of the tips that I've been given is when I'm using a sloper, I might need to put my body weight all the way down so that I am laying low instead of up in my hands and not moving over the sloper, because sometimes when you move over it, it's easier for you to slip off. And another really good one is with those banana holds, if you've ever seen any, they feel really crappy for me when I hold the middle. But I've learned that if I hold the ends, they actually feel like a really good pinch. So this tip has been really helpful, and it's different for everyone, of course, because it just depends on your own strengths and your hand size and all that jazz. So I would encourage you to go out there if you're having trouble with a particular hold, to just try different positions, try positioning your body a certain way, try leaning and replacing center of gravity so that you can feel like where the best part of the hold is, because you'd honestly might be surprised. Hopefully I'll be able to ask some experts and make a video about that in the future. Armed with the knowledge of how to hold these holds, again, you're less likely to fall off them when you commit because you'll know exactly where you're going. And for me and climbing, a lot of the times it is about giving myself that sense of security so that I am able to hit those holds in a precise and controlled manner, so that I know exactly where I'm going next, so I can feel really comfortable on the wall. And once I feel comfortable, of course, I'm less likely to fall off and get injured, and that's what we want. So yeah. However, obviously all this advice is not foolproof, so you probably will be falling off these things because that's just a part of climbing. If you do want any tips on how to manage your wounds, feel free to watch my video on wound management, which I made a few months ago, and I give you tips on the products that I like to use to take care of my wounds, to take care of my skin, to make sure that everything heals on time, because we want to keep climbing and we want to keep our skin healthy. So go watch that video if you are interested. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this week's video, and I will see you next week. Bye! Sup guys, this week I'm going to chat really quickly about the boulder that I did, which I was super proud of and shocked that I even did, but it's like this
knee bar one where you turn 360, and people do it dynamically, but I was really stuck here, so I didn't actually know, so I decided to toe hook that hold, which was great because I didn't have to waste a lot of energy, but I did waste a lot of it being stuck in the knee bar and getting really scared. But anyways, then I just reach for this little crimp, and then I go up to more slightly crimpy stuff, and then I have to match everything because I'm so scared and so high, and then I finally get it, and I'm very surprised. And then here's me just climbing down because I don't want to jump from the top, and then yeah, I'm just like super surprised. And at this stage, a kid has come to my camera and is just like looking through it because you know how all kids love technology. So yeah, it takes a while for me to turn this off.